Welcome back to the SportsMax Zone. Cricket now takes the spotlight, and West Indies and Pakistan will resume their test rivalry starting Thursday when they contest the first of two test matches at Sabina Park in Kingston, Jamaica. The Pakistanis enter the series as slight favourites, having won the last series between the two, a 2-1 triumph back in 2017, which incidentally was Pakistan's first test series win in the Caribbean. West Indies and Pakistan share neck-and-neck rivalry in tests, with the South Asian country having the head-to-head via 3 wins. But it's been 20 years since the Caribbean team tasted a series success over Pakistan, and going into the first test on Thursday, the tone of West Indies head coach Phil Simmons hints that reversing recent trends could be tough for his unit. Simmons says some of the players have entered camp undercooked, and he's worried over their fitness.
As far as I know, none of the games were played. And just to answer your question as straight as I can be, no, there's not enough work done before the players got here. Quite a few players said that they didn't get any work done at their home territories before they came to this camp and for the game.
Are you disappointed by that?
Well, yeah, obviously, it's disappointing to know that they've gone home and there's nothing done. We have to come back and we have to start from scratch when we get here. So it's a little disappointing. Yes, it is. Yeah, Pakistan, going through the years, we've always had tough battles with Pakistan, with any Pakistan team that comes to the Caribbean or we go there. So it is going to be another tough series. And as you said, they have won their last. They've played very well in their last 2 test series, and they're coming here on a high. Whereas we've played well in a couple of test series, and then the last test series we didn't play well. So even though we're home, we're a little bit of an underdog in this, but we know that we're going to try to put everything into it and make sure that we come out on top.
Thursday's test will bowl off the second edition of the World Test Championship for both West Indies and Pakistan. With World Test Championship points on offer, international cricket commentator Fazeer Mohammed joins us to preview the series and the first test. Welcome, Faz.
Good to be on the show once again.
All right, always a pleasure to have you on the SportsMax Zone. We're starting with what Coach Phil Simmons has said, speaking about the Pakistanis coming to the Caribbean, but, still being favourites, especially because they won the Test series in 2017 and then on current form. Where do you stand on what the coach is saying?
But I think he has every reason to be worried, because when you have a situation, as he said, players are undercooked, that is a serious situation, because remember how badly the West Indies batting lineup looked against South Africa in those 2 test matches in St. Lucia on a spicy surface. Now, even if Sabina Park doesn't have as much life, isn't as helpful to the faster bowlers, it's still going to be a worry for the West Indies, because clearly the concerns will be the ability of the batsmen to build some sort of confidence, to gain some sort of form, some sort of rhythm, having been away from the test match fray for the better part of 2.5 months. And to now understand that so many of them have really not had the opportunity. And you can understand it to a certain extent, Mariah, because depending on which territory you're in, with the COVID-19 restrictions, there might have been no opportunity to play even club cricket to get yourself in tune. So that is a concern. But whether or not anything could have been done as to work in the nets, work in an indoor facility, or some sort of effort to, at the best way possible, replicate match situations, which we know are nearly impossible, but still, at least as far as fitness, as far as facing enough deliveries, bowling enough deliveries, to at least have the technical team feeling that, look, okay, maybe they would not have had enough match preparation because of so many mitigating factors, but at least that they would have played enough cricket in the nets or in some sort of situation, some sort of simulation to have them ready. And to not have that really is a worrying situation going just 2 days away from the test series.
Definitely. And if we were to just look back at the South Africa series, we'd realize that, at one point we were bowled out for 97 in under 41 overs. We weren't able to actually cross a score of 165. So I'm building up this picture, and then I'm asking you this question. With Darren Bravo, of course, one of our most senior batsmen where Test cricket is concerned, opting out at this point in the time when our batting has really, failed us time after time. Where do you stand on that decision?
Well, I don't see a discussion at all as far as Darren Bravo is concerned, because when you look at his numbers in Test cricket, they're very, very poor. And as a result of that, I find it a little bewildering, the explanation from Cricket West Indies that it's been felt necessary to give him a rest because he's been in the bubble for a long time. It's a little, how should I put it, immature, or to not want to explain that, look, what is so difficult in this real world? We're talking about competition. We're talking about elite athletes, whether we're talking about Olympic Games, whether we're talking about Test match cricket. And the numbers at this time do not justify Darren Bravo being in the team. So how difficult is it to say that, look, Darren Bravo does not merit inclusion at this time because of his numbers. And unfortunately, he's not had the opportunity to play enough cricket, 4-day cricket or long-form cricket to merit a reconsideration of that situation. And that is the end of that. But there seems to be, whether it comes to players' injuries, because it took a long time to understand that three key players, Fabian Allen and Obed McCoy, and on one of those slips my memory right now, were unavailable for the T20 matches against Pakistan because of different injuries. And Cricket West Indies took an eternity to explain. So again, there's this infantile obsession with secrecy that really isn't necessary at all.
Oh, yeah, really a strong point there, Faz. And, I'm going to stick with the batting before Lance comes in, and I'm going to point our captain now, Craig Brathwaite, at the helm. How much will the pressure will be on him to deliver with the bat, of course, at the top of the order, in order to ensure that the Windies, put on some sort of solid score?
Lots of pressure. The good thing for him is that he could look back on a phenomenal Test match in Sharjah at the end of the series in 2016, when he was unbeaten with 100 in the first innings and then unbeaten with a half century in the second innings. That would have never happened in the history of Test cricket. But you fast forward 5 years and you find Craig Brathwaite in a situation where he's struggling. And again, if the same applies in other territories, applies in Barbados, what sort of opportunity would he have had to really get time in the middle in a competitive environment? Because as we know, when it comes to the Barbados situation, their domestic season is in the latter half of the year, not the first half of the year, as in many other parts of the Caribbean. So there are a number of issues compounding here. I know, of course, that Craig Brathwaite is the sort of phlegmatic individual who never appears to be too put off by what else is going on around him, what people say about him, and that sort of thing. But the numbers suggest that he is due for runs. And the quality of the Pakistan attack, especially with the new bowl, because of the way they bowl, they almost take the pitch and other factors out of the equation, because their ability to get pace on a full length, get the ball to move late, they're sometimes more dangerous with the older ball than they are with the newer one. So it all points towards a tremendous challenge for Craig Brathwaite and everyone else in that batting lineup. Yeah,
Faz, I'm having a bit of a struggle trying to assess the form line of the two teams coming in. The West Indies beaten in their last red ball outing against the South Africans. The Pakistan is coming off a win over Zimbabwe, so I'm not too sure how strongly that counts as far as facing up to this West Indies team. Who comes into this series with the tools based on their form line to win?
You're not the only one, Lance, when it comes to West Indies versus Pakistan, struggling to work out who do you give the edge, because you're talking about two very talented but mercurial teams. We saw Pakistan last year in the series in England, which followed the West Indies campaign, where they had a match to win, and they bowled such rubbish to Wokes at a key stage on what proved the final day, that you wonder what was really going on. Were they completely switched off? And that's what you have to give both teams credit or debit for, that they just seem to switch off at times when all seems to be going a certain way. I say, though, that based on how we saw the West Indies struggle against the South African pace in St. Lucia, that you'd have to give the edge to Pakistan, because they just have so many tools in their armory when it comes to bowling. But again, they could completely mess it up on the first morning. But at this point, Lance, I'd venture to give Pakistan the edge.
All right. In the past year, we've seen some new players emerge for the West Indies in Test cricket, like Kyle Mayers and Nkrumah Bonner. Bonner's batting average at the moment, I think, is 55, albeit just from five Test matches. But would the emergence of players like those give the West Indies fans some confidence that they can deliver something that will make the fans happy?
I would say more hope than confidence, because as you said correctly, fantastic start for Nkrumah Bonner and of course Kyle Mayers with that double 100 in Bangladesh. But again, we saw what happened against South Africa, and South Africa have a lot more discipline than Bangladesh. They certainly have a lot more discipline than Pakistan. Whether they have the same amount of talent as is available to Pakistan, the pity is that we didn't really see it fully on show in that rain-ruined T20 series with just one match that reached a final result. But again, those players that you mentioned, Mayers, Bonner, and so many others in the West Indies, there's been so much talk about Shimron Hetmyer. There's been so much talk about Darren Bravo. When you look at Joe Root scoring an excellent 100 for England against India, you ask yourself, and maybe even some of the commentators, they probably didn't verbalize it, but they might be asking themselves, well, I know about Kane Williamson, I know about Steve Smith, I know about Marnus Labuschagne, I know about Virat Kohli, but I remember Darren Bravo being considered in the same sentence, in the same breath with a lot of these players. What has happened to him? And again, you wouldn't want to see Shimron Hetmyer, Kyle Mayers, and Nkrumah Bonner go the way of a Darren Bravo, and we certainly hope that Bravo can revive his career, and that seems to be a real worrying situation, Lance.
Yeah, you know what? I've been looking at the last Test series that the West Indies played against Pakistan here in the Caribbean, and Pakistan is winning that series 2-1, Faz. The top performers for the West Indies in that series would have been Ruston Chase, who had 200s, and Shannon Gabriel. Gabriel obviously not here, and Chase struggling with some form at the moment, just one half century in his last 10 or 11 innings. How much do you expect Chase to rekindle some of the form that we know the West Indies would need for the Caribbean side to be competitive here?
Well, that recent memory surely will do him good as far as those couple of hundreds, the 100 in Barbados, the 100 even though it turned out to be a losing effort in Dominica, and of course the one consolation for Shannon Gabriel being left out to regain form and fitness is that he won't be there at the end to have to play the shot that he did, and the shot you like to forget. But yes, you're right, Lance. When you have good memories of certain opponents, and indeed credit to Ruston Chase because he got a few runs in the trial match. I don't know why they call it the best versus best. I don't know if it's Tino versus Carlisle, but it just seems to be so much about branding. But anyway, let's move along. The issue is that these players now need to take whatever good memories they would have had. And someone like a Ruston Chase would have had very good memories of 4 years ago against Pakistan, getting runs, he's got wickets. He's the type of cricketer who can make a significant difference. He got a few runs, even though it wasn't really all that much against South Africa, to show what he was possible when he was pushed up to number 4 in the batting order. Will he again be at number 4? We'll have to wait and see, given that he had that good record against Pakistan. Again, we'll have to wait and see. But the point is, Lance, that yes, those players who did well 4 years ago must feel that they can replicate. But again, 4 years is a long time in international cricket. And you know, Waqar Younis, the coach and company, great fast bowler himself, they will be working out their strategies in dealing with every single West Indies batsman, much in the same that Phil Simmons and company, Roddy Estwick and so on, will be doing the same for West Indies bowlers against Pakistan.
Faz, as usual, always great talking to you here on the SportsMax Zone. We'll be in touch.
A pleasure. Take care.
Well, when we come back from the break, I think Faz is still going to be with us because we're still going to be talking some cricket, ICC cricket, and the bid to stage cricket, cricket in the Olympic Games. So Faz, don't go.
Faz, stay put.
Yeah, we need your input. Back in a moment.